Hey, have you had a chance to sit down with Hack and Austin and talk about their respective futures? And have they sought out official evaluations from the NFL to see where they might go?
Yes. Yeah, I met with both of those guys, I guess it was 2 weeks ago. Had really good meetings with them. You know, we have some services that we provide for our families as well as the players to get some information. They both have applied for information from the NFL as well. So yeah, that's an ongoing process, and I've met with both of them. And then, you know, what we basically decided more than anything is, you know, just like everything else at Penn State, we want to have a plan and be organized, and whatever we decide, you know, it's not going to be just someone coming out and throwing something out midweek on a tweet, or, you know, it's going to be something that we're going to try to do together and do it the way they want it to be done, and also it's going to represent Penn State the right way. So we're still working through those details and really still working through some of the answers.
I didn't get a chance to ask you this the other day, but Joe Moorhead, as far as a recruiter, got a lot of pretty rave reviews. What's his recruiting territory going to be, and how do you see him kind of working in with your staff on that aspect?
Yeah, at this point, we haven't really identified that. You know, obviously you want to play to guys' strengths, and then also, you know, for the coordinators, you'd like to have maybe a little bit smaller area and a little bit more of a regional area, just because of their other responsibilities. At this point of the recruiting process, we're more concerned about, you know, finishing off this class. So his, you know, responsibility right now is to build relationships with our current commits and guys that we're still involved with. And he's already started doing some evaluation of the 2017 guys that we were involved with. So, you know, specific areas and things like that, we haven't gotten into those specifics. Andy Frank has already started working on that, some different possibilities for him, as well as what we think makes the most sense for Penn State. But we haven't specifically identified those things. One of the challenges is him and Bob have a similar background, and they're both coordinators, so it's hard for them, you know, both to kind of recruit, you know, obviously the same area.
Back during the bye week, you talked about the redshirt freshman offensive linemen and their progressions, and I'm sure you've gotten to see plenty of them, and even the freshman guys so far during those practices. What are sort of some of your takeaways been? Have you seen improvement that you're expecting to see between the bye week and now from those guys?
Yeah, you know, Ryan Bates is a guy I think I mentioned to you guys earlier that, you know, we actually, there was a time there we were thinking about maybe burning his shirt. You know, he's done some really nice things in one-on-one session. He's done some really nice things in team periods, in competitive periods, you know, against AJ and Zettel and those guys. You know, right now we have him working almost predominantly at center, but I think he's a more natural guard. You know, but, you know, that center experience is valuable for him in terms of, you know, creating flexibility for us and really kind of taking control from the leadership standpoint. But he's now, you know, just under 300 pounds, 297 pounds, I think. So now he's put himself in a position where he's big and strong enough to do it. Gonzalez is a guy that we're excited about. He's about 330 pounds right now, which is about where he was when he arrived, except the weight is different. So if you look at, you know, his body fat percentages and things like that, they've really changed. He's a powerful guy. He's a guy that can really get movement and create space. Great in double teams and things like that. So excited about those two guys. And then, you know, the other guy that I think has really done, you know, some nice things for us is, I'm a loss for a name right now. 6'8", 330 pounds. Sterling Jenkins. Thank you very much. Sterling is probably one of our most improved guys. You know, a lot of times the guys that are that long, they're not very strong in the weight room. He is really strong in the weight room for a guy with almost 34-inch arms. You know, and his pass sets have really improved. He still needs to be more physical. That's an aspect that, you know, I think is going to continue to grow. But he's got really, really light feet. He's very athletic. When he uses his hands, he's got a good punch. But those three guys, as true freshmen during the redshirt period, have really improved. And then the other guys as well, that are redshirt freshmen, that are coming on, like Noah Bays and things like that we've talked about. Those guys, Chance Sorrell, those guys, I think have really, taken another step as well. So, those guys are exciting, for our future down the road, in terms of the depth and the size and the experience that we're looking for on the offensive line.
What have you seen from Trace McSorley and Tommy Stevens in these developmental practices? And also, how do you think they fit into what Coach Moorhead wants to do with his vision for the quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think, those guys are guys that I think have a lot of different skills that could fit into a lot of different systems. And that's, to me, how we want to recruit, moving forward, and how we've always recruited. You want to recruit guys that create great flexibility. And Trace and Tommy both do that. I think obviously Hack does as well. I think all three of those guys. I mentioned that last week when I said we have 3 quarterbacks that we're really excited about. And Chris came into my office afterwards and said, everybody was buzzing about that. Which 3 were you talking about? Well, there's only 3 scholarship quarterbacks in our program now that I can talk about. Talk about kids that are committed to us. That wasn't part of the discussion. So the 3 I was talking about, so we're clear, is Christian Hackenberg and Trace and Tommy. And then, obviously, we got other guys in the program that are doing a good job for us as well as Billy and Jackson. But I think those guys, sitting behind Hack now for a year or 2 years has been valuable to learn from all the things that Hack has done well and learn from some things that they may do differently based on their skill sets and things like that. That's valuable. That time, me as an assistant coach sitting behind head coaches, kind of, learning from their experiences. And I think both of those guys have had the maturity to approach it that way. So, hopefully they'll have another year to season and learn and be ready when their opportunity comes.